CWU, the Communications Union Birmingham branch, became the focal point where members of the Birmingham community gathered to pay tribute and celebrate the achievements of Mohammed Taj, the recently appointed president of TUC, and Javed Khan, who will be taking his position as the Chief Executive Officer of Barnardo's. The event was organised and hosted by Councillor Wasim Zafar and supported by ANSA, the Association of Non-Stun Abattoirs. Masood Butt, in his capacity as the legal advisor to ANSA, addressed the gathering on the importance of equality and defending the basic rights of faith communities through unity in Europe.
Good evening to all of you. Little introduction here. Association of Non-Stun Abattoirs Director and the person who is known as Mr. Halal and Ambassador Halal is Mohammed Salim. I'm a lawyer. I practice and I give legal advice to all the members of the Association of Non-Stun Abattoirs. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I've had very interesting speakers before me. I'm very honored to have the opportunity to speak to all of you today. This is the first time I've actually attended a predominantly Labour Party sort of audience. And I was recalling myself about a few years ago, but I think it's about 2 years now. I was approached by some people, I would rather not disclose the names, who approached me to join the Tory party for some vacancy. And I had about a 1 hour session in the city centre, a very nice place with them. And I came home, thought about it, and that evening I joined Labour Party. And I think that is where probably my socialism was, because I always stood for the people who didn't have the ability to have the voice, the rights, and that's what eventually moved me to the area of the law as well. I also recall some years back, when I was at the Chamber of Commerce, I was approached by this organization. There were about 12 applications to be submitted on the name of ethnic minority radio stations, and one of them was Kerrang Radio. And I remember Javed and I, both of us were approached to be the directors of that board. That radio won the bid. And I think after a few months we had one meeting, they gave us a little gift. And I think to me they sent a letter, thank you very much and goodbye to you. And I thought, you know, this is a typical organization who chose you, used your name, got the bid, you know, it was the last bid for that, and said goodbye to you. So now I actually challenge the authorities, the public sector especially, where they are encroaching on the rights of the businesses or individuals in the city. And that is where the Association of Non-Stun comes in. For those of you who do not know, I would recommend after this event you speak to Mohammed Salim, because he's far more knowledgeable and speaks much more eloquently and passionately about this work. But this is where another of legally protected right of Muslims has been fettered with by the government, and they have tried to interfere in the current legislation, but we have managed to stop it till 2018. In the Welfare of Animal and Skills Slaughter and Killing 1995 legislation, there's a provision that both Muslims and Jews in this country have the right to religious method of slaughter. And the government, from the guises of animal welfare or from the British Veterinary Association, are trying to change that and either take it away from the Muslims. It has happened in Europe, and that is where we need people like Councillor Ansar Khan to be supported, because these are the people who would know the issue and will be able to defend that issue from the bottom of their heart. We do not want that intervention. I absolutely agree with the previous speaker who said we are one community. And I think I also agree with him that Birmingham is the best place to come and have a melting pot of various cultures. I do not have to travel to many places. I can go and see a temple, I can go and see a synagogue, I can go and see a mandir and a mosque, and everything is here. And that is where all of our children actually get a cohesive knowledge of people from one community. And that is very, very important. It is an honor for me to appreciate my colleague Javed and Mohammed Taj from Leeds to have these wonderful opportunities. And I know that leadership is not actually which you can achieve in a day. It is a collection of your small decisions which at the end add up, and that is what converts one day to a leader. And yes, we need more leaders. In the Asian community, we have lots of leaders, but less followers. But that is important because each of you can have one important point, one important principle, and that is what we need to have. I think we, when I speak to my children and everything, sometimes we probably experience at home as well, that when you are living in a society for which you have lots of religions, lots of ideas, your children sometimes become confused. And they ask you questions, why others are different. My 8-year-old son comes from school one day and they say, some of my friends don't have a dad. So how come they don't have a dad in the house? So you have to go and explain to them. Because children are glued to these social networks where they're getting more information. So you need to be able to refine that. And for that you need to have access and knowledge yourself. To be able to speak from a position of knowledge, it is very important. So we have to remove the barriers, we have to remove the ignorance from ourselves, and we have to choose the right and then stand by that. At the end, I would say what Madam Teresa said, that the life is a promise and you fulfill it. Thank you very much and congratulations.